seems like a long time since I spoke to you. It has been a little shy of a week and a half, and of course so much has happened since we last spoke, so that's probably why it feels like such a long time. I want to focus on two things really this newsletter, with a little bit of levity at the end. The first thing I want to talk about is the maths testing programme for schools. You may already be aware that we have actually implemented a maths testing site at the school. As per the government guidelines, we are testing staff once a week and offering initial maths testing to students when they come back to school after the lockdown. You may be aware that East Sussex have advised the local authority schools not to engage in this maths testing. But as a multi-academy trust, we are able to make our own decision. I feel very strongly that with the right organisation and some careful training, that if maths testing is possible, then it is exactly and absolutely the right thing to do. If we cannot, as the phrase is, vaccinate to educate, then we must do the next best thing, which is test as many people as possible and keep the school community safe. Last term, we had several occasions when students were asked to self-isolate for 10 days because they had been in close contact with someone. And this was having a devastating effect on their learning. I don't want this to happen. Maths testing and then serial testing will mean that students will not have to self-isolate if they are willing to take a test for 7 days in a row if they have come into contact with someone who has tested COVID positive. It would be very easy for King's Academy Ringmer to refuse to engage in the maths testing as a way of saying we want to be vaccinated. But I feel very strongly that if we can test, we should test to keep the whole community safe. So that is what is going to happen. I also want to say how overwhelmed we have been at school by the number of parents who have volunteered to help us with the maths testing when school reopens. And of course our great admin team who have stepped up to the plate once again in these difficult circumstances and have all been trained to do the testing of staff, which is happening right now. We are going to maths test when school reopens after lockdown, so we need your help and support with that. I will make contact with you shortly before school opens to gain consent for your son or daughter to be tested, and I ask that you either say yes or no to this. In this newsletter is a short video which shows you how the testing works, as well as some frequently asked questions. So I hope for now this clears up all the questions around testing in schools, especially for us at King's Academy Ringmer. Of course, since I last spoke to you, the other big piece of news, apart from Donald Trump being impeached, is that our Year 11 summer exams have been cancelled. So I have asked Mr. Pachet, who supervises all of the exams from a leadership level, to give me some guidance and information on what I can share with you at the moment with regard to these exams. So forgive me if, as I do sometimes now, read to you rather than speak directly at you. So, the Secretary of State, Gavin Williamson, sent a letter to Ofqual on Wednesday asking them to consult for alternative arrangements to the summer examinations for GCSEs and A-levels. This also means that we have to consider the BTECs, which are another part of the examination process. It means that in the summer, centre assessed grades with teacher input will be the way forward as they were last year. BTECs have also suffered from similar disruption, which means they are equally important and therefore have to be cancelled in the same way. February BTECs will now be cancelled. In the letter, Gavin Williamson states that there will be a 2-week consultation where he gathers ideas, evidence and opinions from a variety of different people. The school, of course, will contribute to that consultation, and you as a parent are also invited to do so. Attached to this newsletter is a letter from Gavin Williamson, which you can read, and will also give you information if you wish to contribute to the 2-week consultation. There are 6 key points for the consultation, and if you forgive me, this is where I'm going to read to you. Number 1, teachers will be asked to assess their students. Number 2, A breadth of evidence should inform teachers' judgments. Number 3, training and guidance will support teachers to reach their assessment of a student's deserved grade. Number 4, the consultation should explore the possibility of providing externally set tasks or exam papers. You may have heard these in the press be referred to as mini exams. The teacher will be able to then draw upon these exams to contribute to their assessment of the student's final grade. The consultation should set out proposals which allow students to be assessed based on what they have learnt rather than against the content they had not had an opportunity to study. Number 6, for BTECs where assessment has already been completed, this will be taken into account when awarding a result, but an alternative arrangements will need to be made for any further examined assessments. There does seem to be some indication that there will be an exam put in place, which does appear to be contrary to the announcement made earlier. However, the Prime Minister did just say that the exams would not go ahead as normal, so this is where we think the idea of a mini exam has come to bear. We're going to continue to communicate with you as we know more. Let's hope that the summer's exams or the summer's assessments will help us all get the grades that our students deserve. I'd like to add myself that teacher assessments again means centre assessments, and there will be robust and rigorous checking of all of the grades that are submitted by teachers. And finally, I know you've all been working really hard at home on your live lessons, and I just thought for a bit of fun you'd like to see a few photographs and one short film of how our teachers are teaching you on the other side of remote learning. So please have a look at the photographs and film attached to this electronic version of the newsletter. Have a good weekend.